People in the gallery, if you cannot remain quiet, you will be removed. This is your first one and only warning. Next warning, you're removed.
All I'm gonna say, this is one of the most offensive pieces of legislation I've heard this year. Offensive. For women who have actually had to bury children. This is a terrible piece of legislation. What you are doing is forcibly, potentially women who have been raped, who've been pregnant, and then you're pushing them to bury or cremate that? It's terrible. This is not a pro-life piece of legislation. What you are doing is further using your legislative powers to bring trauma on women who decide to make that choice. Yet we're not doing anything else in the legislature to support other women in their ability to have safe pregnancies. What about the women who've had miscarriages, multiple miscarriages? What about them? Do they have to pay a burial fee every time they lose a child trying to have children? Why are we taking the most traumatic parts of pregnancy and then passing legislative action around them in the name of pro-life? This is ridiculous, and I'm offended if anybody votes for this bill because it has nothing to do with the child. This is about pushing an unnecessary agenda. So if you're going to push a piece of pro-life legislation, push some pro-life legislation, but don't push nothing like this that's going to force you to have to bury children in the weeks that and this is a fetus. This is not even a baby that we're talking about. So be very clear. I don't appreciate this legislation. It's offensive to women like me. And I hope everyone listening doesn't vote for this terrible, offensive piece of legislation.
Chairman Rudd.
This legislation strives to extend the same protections, the same respect and dignity to a deceased surgically aborted child as granted to any other deceased human being. It will be the responsibility of the mother or the abortion clinic or the clinic and that had the abortion to pay for the series. So we're not forcing women to do anything. The real subject here, this legislation does not in any way, shape, or form restrict abortion or have anything to do with abortion. This is post-abortion. And the way that the remains of a unborn aborted child is handled right now, whether it's thrown in the trash or flushed down the toilet, is appalling. And we have in code today that pets, our farm animals and our pets are treated with more dignity, yet there is nothing in code to protect the dignity of an unborn, of an aborted child. And this legislation simply takes care of that. But again, in no way, shape, or form is this an abortion bill. It does not restrict or in any way restrict a woman's right or access to an abortion.